What's going on, you guys? It's me, AnarchYxNinja, and today we got some more big news for Star Wars. Star Wars gaming, to be exact. And no, disclaimer, it's not Battlefront 3 for all those who only show up to, it's a Battlefront 3. If you listen to what's about to be said, I don't think you're going to be expecting it anytime soon. But for those who don't know, we'll just get straight into it. The Star Wars, or the Respawn Star Wars game, the FPS game that they've been talking about making for the last 2-3 years that we've always talked about, like, well, maybe it'll be like a Battlefront, just got canceled. So it's not even happening no matter what it is. So that is not good news. Add it to yet another game in the vast Star Wars inventory of games that have been canceled. And sadly, there's more to come, like Star Wars Eclipse. Disclaimer, we just did a Battlefield stream today, so if you want to go into like great detail on this conversation, watch that, because this video can't be as long as that stream was. So we basically talked about it the entire stream, but especially in the beginning part. So we go into even more detail than we'll do it in this video, unfortunately, because we just don't got time. But man, Star Wars gaming, we've been saying it for a while, but it's just in such a dire position now, and they just keep failing in every way possible. I don't even know where to begin with this. Like, a few weeks ago, they came out with the leak. It turned out it was a leak that they're like, this is going to be a Mandalorian game. That's what the Respawn game was. And we even talked about it. I'm like, that's not really that exciting. I feel like the Mandalorian's kind of already peaked. This game's a little late to be doing that, in my opinion anyway. I'm sure not everyone would agree. Oh, we're freezing. I'm not taunting. We're just freezing. Fantastic. Well, now we're just freezing a lot. And I didn't think it was going to do well anyway. But here's another example of another game failing. They don't have any multiplayer in the works. I froze there, so he's just going to stab me. Ignore the gameplay. We're freezing. Just ignore the gameplay. We're here for the conversation. There's no multiplayer games in the works. Even in the announcement that they canceled the game, they said they moved the developers over from that game to work on Jedi Survivor 3 or whatever the third installment in the Fallen Order franchise. But we already know we're getting that, you know, and those games are good, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like them, but they are just, wow, we are freezing bad. They're just another single-player game you play for a week and you're done for the most part. Maybe some people play it a little longer, but there's no longevity to it. Like, it's just another single-player game. Not even an open-world single-player game, really. It's just you do go from point A to point B. It had a little more exploration in the last one. And that's it. There's not a whole lot going on there. You need some multiplayer games, and they don't have nothing. Not a Battlefront, not anything. And we talked about it yesterday. All this stuff getting announced is very obvious that they've been planning some of this for a while. Like, for example, Battlefield getting announced that they're working on the next one. We talked about it briefly in the yesterday's video. And since then, the news broke that they canceled this. So it's looking like EA is kind of just done with Star Wars, besides Fallen Order. So if you're hoping for a DICE or a Battlefront game to be released by them, I don't think you should even be hoping for it anymore. We speculated yesterday that when Battlefront ended, they worked on 2042. That came out in 2021. And now 4 years after that, in 2025, is when the new Battlefield releases. So that's a 4-year window. And now, assuming this Battlefield releases in 2025, which is what they said they're aiming for, if you go another 4 years beyond that, which let's say they work on Battlefront, that would bring us to 2029. Best case scenario, we get it. But from everything we could see, their EA's kind of done with Star Wars gaming and this type of shit. And there's nothing but layoffs at EA right now. So if anything, this is almost the final nail in the coffin for Battlefront 3. At least anytime near soon, you know, and I'm saying soon by 2030. Like, that's still in my soon department. Like, that far into the future, I still think it's soon. And I don't think we're getting it. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell, really. You know, we talked about it the other day with the announcement of the Battlefront Classics, that we were hoping if this game does well, it might convince them to do the green light to go forward with the Battlefront 3. And I even think that's already been kind of negated by the stuff that's going on now. When you pair it with all the people getting laid off and everything. And another thing we went up in deep conversation with on the stream is I'm still excited for Battlefront Classic. Don't think I'm not. I grew up playing those games, and I'm gonna enjoy them. So take what I say I'm about to say with a grain of salt. To me, it's blatantly obvious they announced that when they did to try to dampen the negative news that's about to come out with another Star Wars game getting canceled. Basically, they announced that. It's just a distraction to try to be like, look, we did something positive. This isn't all negative. So it kind of even took away my excitement towards that game a little bit. Because it wasn't like, let's see if this is good. No, it was like, we need to do something to, in a way, cover up some of the negative news. Or distract us from it. So basically, it was just a diversion. So that made me not even as excited for that anymore. Because that's all they got. And they're just recycling that. And we were surprised that they're releasing it from when they announced Battlefront Classics to when it's going to release. It's not even a month. Now it all makes sense why. They've been sitting on this game for a while, or Battlefront Classics for a while. It's probably been done for a while. And they've just been waiting for the time to release it to try to make us ignore some of the bad news. It's all just a huge marketing play on their part. I would not even say it's a cash grab. I'm sure it could be considered a cash grab, but they were really just trying to distract from the news they knew was going to come out. EA's having a bunch of... I can't even move. A bunch of people getting fired or let go. Another another DICE game canceled. Or not DICE game, but another EA game canceled. There's really nothing good coming out. And then they announce like, oh, but don't worry, we got a Jedi Survivor thing. We all fucking know that, dude. We all know that. So basically what I'm expecting to get released in the next few years, basically, is Battlefront Classic, obviously. That's not really a new game. But we're going to get Outlaws. I still think we're going to get Outlaws. They seem to be pretty far along, so I don't think that's going to change. We'll be getting Outlaws, and we're going to be getting Jedi Survivor 3, or whatever they call it. You know what I mean, the Fallen Order game. Other than that, it's just going to be a lot of remakes. The Dark Forces, or whatever that other really old game, even before my time is that old. Never even played it, but they're going to release that too, but we're in the dark times. For those of you who thought we'd been in the dark times for Battlefront gaming, or Star Wars gaming in general, they just started. It only got worse. So honestly, for all you guys holding out hope for Battlefront 3, I don't think you should. And trust me, I would benefit more than any of us if there was a Battlefront 3. But all signs are pointing to they are done. I don't even think we're going to get another EA Star Wars game after the ones we just talked about. They're just done. I genuinely don't see them continuing. There's nothing good out of this news that's of any of this shit. Like, it's just all negative. All the writing's on the wall, folks. It's done. We're done. The curse of Battlefront 3 continues. The first two Battlefronts ended, and they didn't get a 3, even though they tried. And now this 2 Battlefronts are going to end. They wanted a 3, and it's not happening. This is just horrible. The horrible decisions EA has done leading up to this point, they have absolutely failed Star Wars gaming. Multiplayer specifically, I'm more focused on multiplayer than single player, but just in general. They have, I don't know the exact numbers, but they have canceled at least as many games as they have released. They are just announcing shit, canceling it, and all this shit. And now, for example, this particular group that was working on the Mandalorian Respawn game, they now said, oh, they're going to go work on Jedi Survivor 3. Well, okay, how far along is Jedi Survivor, or whatever the new game is called, in development? If it's already long in development, wouldn't it have made sense to cancel this game earlier and get the guys working on it earlier? Put all hands on deck earlier for that. Why are you just doing it now? But that could be negated by they've already, they're just starting work on it, but it's just, man, there ain't nothing positive to say, to be honest. But, yeah, it's bad times for Star Wars gamers. You ain't getting much, especially if you're holding out hope for Battlefront. It's not happening, bro. Not anytime soon. So basically, these Battlefront Classics, you better enjoy them, because that's all you're going to be getting, I think. They're not coming back to this game. They're not going to... I don't even think they're going to work on the Battlefront Classics much. For the same reason I think that they just released them, to like cover up some of the negativity that's about to be coming out. I don't think they're going to work on it much. So, I don't be expecting remastered graphics, or maybe in the future they'll make more content. I don't see them doing much of anything on that. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong with all of what I'm saying, but it's not looking like that's going to be the case. But Anyway. Just not good times for us Star Wars gamers, unfortunately. And we keep holding out hope, and we just don't get it. But, again, we go into way more detail on the live stream if you want to just turn it on. Listen to it like a podcast. I know you don't like Battlefield, but just listen to what we say. We don't have time to go into great detail here, even though I wish I could. But, got those on a freeze, so I can't make this an hour-long video, which I could. I could rant that long if you get me started. But it's just... Like, we got the news. We talked about this on stream, so I'll just go over it quickly. But we got the news. Turns out it was a leak that it was going to be a Mandalorian game. Maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago. I don't remember the exact time frame. So it seemed that the game was progressing, right? We're like, oh, this is what the Respawn game is. Finally news. We haven't got news on this in a while. Turns out that was just a leak. So what we were saying on stream is, that leak came out. That was from somebody on the inside of the developer side of things. They leaked it to hopefully get positive feedback from the audience, us, to keep the game greenlit. Like, no, we're not going to cancel it. Look, at the people want it. We're going to keep giving you funding. And that obviously failed since they now canceled the game. But that's why the news, if you will, I'm doing air quotes when I say news, of, oh, it's a Mandalorian game came out recently. I'm sure some of you are thinking of that. That's why. It was the people on the inside leaking it, trying to get positive feedback from the community so the higher-ups wouldn't cancel it. But obviously that did not work. So, for all you who just think they make games, there's a lot of Game of Thrones thing going on right now, but people in the back trying to leak shit to keep it going, and the developers releasing Battlefront to be like, look, you guys, not negative news, even though they just chalk up another game into the cancellation bin, which they just constantly be doing. And for those of you holding out for, I never remember the fucking game's name, what is it? Oh, we just talked about it. Star Wars Eclipse. That game, I'm willing to bet you guys money that game is not going to come out. That's going to be yet another game that will not see the light of day. They just keep doing this. How does a gaming group, whatever, EA, whoever, how do the gaming of Star Wars, Disney gaming, how do they fail so bad every fucking time? It amazes me. Like, you have a franchise. Yes, it's always, people bickering back and forth, but at the end of the day, Star Wars is huge. With so many possibilities for single player, open world, purely story, and multiplayer. And somehow we don't get none of that shit, besides Jedi Survivor. And hey, Outlaws eventually will come out, and whoop-de-fucking-do, we got Outlaws, but it's just, how can you fail so bad with so many opportunities to make an interesting game? Like, it is just beyond frustrating as a fan of Star Wars. Like, if you think the movies are doing bad, Jesus, look at Star Wars gaming. We've been saying it for a while now, but it just keeps getting worse. They are literally failing in every way, shape, and form. Like, it's amazing, dude. I think a lot of it is, I know everybody always chalks it up to greed, because it's the easy thing. Nobody needs to think, they just scream greed. It's not greed, it's incompetence. There's a disconnect between the higher-ups involved with making the games. They're the financiers. They're the ones with the money, the rich guys. But they don't play games. They don't know nothing about games. Frankly, they don't even like Star Wars. It's just an investment for them. So they don't know. And then you have the developers who I'm sure are passionate about the games, but they can't get them made. They can't get nothing made because the higher-ups are always putting their 2 cents in and messing shit up. This is just purely incompetence on behalf of the higher-ups. Like, this is just ridiculous at this point, dude. How could you fail with a franchise that's just waiting to give you money? And they fail every fucking time, dude. It's just amazing how bad this shit is. But here we are. And really, you're seeing a lot of these announcements. Another announcement for you guys who watch all the videos we talked about recently was the Disney announcing that huge gaming thing that we kind of roasted them for their statement where they're like, oh, gaming's a big thing. We need to get into it. Bitch, you've been in it and you've been failing, bro. Shut the fuck up. But they just they just invested a bunch of money into Epic Games, the Fortnite people, to make Star Wars games. Again, that's way down the line. They just started, so don't expect these games anytime soon. But it's kind of obvious they're done with this current generation of games, like EA, Star Wars, Battlefront. They're done. They're moving on to the Epic games. They're scrapping everything. People are getting laid off. They're done. So these guys aren't making Battlefront. They are moving on down the line, and they're just going to try to tread water until they can get to the point the Fortnite games start coming out, which is going to be a long ways away, and it's going to be a very dark time until then. Maybe then we'll get good games. I'm skeptical on that, to be completely honest, with how bad they've butchered this. And again, I'm not even just solely blaming EA. I'm also blaming the higher-ups at Disney. Like, bro, you guys should be getting this shit done. You know how much money these motherfuckers have, and they can't figure out a way to get something done? It's not solely EA being incompetent. It's just higher-ups in general. Like, it is just... There's really no good news to report out of this. There really isn't. This isn't me being negative. If anything, I sound calmer than some of the other dudes I've heard talk about this shit. Like, it is just... Oh, my God. It's fucking pitiful, dude. This huge-ass franchise, and they can't even figure out how to fucking capitalize on it. It's just amazing to me, dude. But anyway, there's our little bit of news. And again, I'm forgetting so much shit. If you really want to hear, I know probably only like one or two you will actually go click. But for those who are interested, we talked for at least the first 30 minutes in great detail with you guys about it. And we did a way better job than this video. But it is just, my goodness, dude. Almost don't even know what to say about it. It's so bad. Meanwhile, I can't even move on a fucking EA server right now because I'm on the other side of the world. Yet other games fucking work. Another great move by fucking EA. Like, Jesus, bro. Every time you think there's a positive, they always somehow immediately follow up with a negative. You know, they did that with Battlefront Classics. I'm like, hey, this is good. Maybe if it goes well, we'll get it. Huh? No, it's just literally to cover up some of the negative that's about to come out next week, basically. The week after they announce it. They did that with Grogu in Season 1 or 2. I'm like, man, you know, they nailed that. For a Star Wars show, they built up to him leaving. This is a good move. And then the higher-ups are like, but let's just reunite them right away. And they fucked up the positive. The negative is so bad. They're doing that with Battlefront Classics to a certain extent. It's not going to ruin the game. I'm still going to enjoy it. But it does take away from it for a little bit for me when I could tell it's just another distraction they did. This is just a diversion. That's why they announced it when they did. This game, honestly, they've been sitting on Battlefront Classics for a while now. That thing's been done for a while, I would imagine, and they're just like, ooh, let's just happen to release all this right now. They're just trying to get something out to try to make the taste in our mouth be not as bad, but really, you guys should just ignore that shit because these guys have all fucking failed. EA Star Wars, Disney Gaming, up to this point, they have all fucking failed miserably. It's a joke. And I know everyone, it's greed. Bro, it's not just greed, dude. Stop with that simpleton argument, dude. This is complete, we're past that. It's incompetence. If they were greedy, they could just be putting out Star Wars games. They're not even putting out Star Wars games. These guys have just fucking failed. How do they leave, dude? I'm the one who can't even fucking move, and they're the ones leaving the server, dude. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Yep. Don't have any good news to report. What else we got to talk about? I don't even know. We might just end the video here. I can't even fucking move, dude. The internet is so bad right now. And by internet, I mean their servers, because everything works fine on every other game, unless it's EA, so. It's just this game. Just like the Star Wars franchise, everything's fucking dying at the moment, so. It just really, we talked about it on the announcement when they said they invested all that money into Epic Games. Like, there's a disconnect, dude. We said it now, but then before we even knew they were going to cancel this shit. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They've already had Star Wars games, and they're acting like they just now figured out, like, Star Wars gaming. You know, there's money to be made in gaming. Dude, you've already been trying to do that. If anything, the way they're wording it, they're trying to act like they haven't already failed. Like, yeah, I think we should get into it. Dude, you've been in it, and you've been failing. And you're trying to distract, and you're like, no, we're going to get in it with these guys now. And honestly, they've been thinking that for a while now. The writing's been on the wall. We would have sounded negative if we had said it a couple years ago, but the writing was on the wall. What's the one big joke we've always talked about with Star Wars gaming and Fortnite is, why does Fortnite's getting more Star Wars content than actual Star Wars games? They've been literally buddy-buddy with those guys for the longest time. And that same time, they've neglected Battlefront, they've neglected making a Battlefront 3, they've neglected any other Star Wars multiplayer game. They've neglected so many other games to just go put out skins for Fortnite. They've completely abandoned this shit. All the games they've been working on, they canceled. Instead of working on 10 or 15 different fucking games in this, however, last few many years, or whatever you want to call it, why not just put all those dudes focused on a couple or a few games that are really good? Now you have all these dudes working on it. We probably could have got some badass fucking games. But no, they wanted to try to capitalize on everything. Let's make a Mandalorian game. no offense, that Mandalorian game was gonna be ass even if it came out. I'll be honest. It sounds like they were making a single player game for Mandalorian. And let's just face it, dude. That's not gonna go well. The hype for Mando already ended, dude. The last season was shit. The movie might help it a little bit, but let's be honest, the hype for that shit's gone. It needed to come out right after season 2 ended. So they kept working on it. Like, why, dude? I could have told you that's gonna be shit. Especially if they don't even have multiplayer. Like, you're just wasting your time. Why are you wasting time on these games that aren't gonna be important? But not only that, you waste money and you waste time. Those developers could have been working on other projects. But no, you spend all these years working on it. Literally for like the last 3 years. All you guys, every time we've said, man, you know, the channel's looking rough. There ain't no Battlefront coming out. What are we gonna do? We need Star Wars games. Well, don't worry, Ninja. Star Wars has a Respawn game coming out soon. And Respawn's good. Respawn makes great multiplayer games. I've been saying that for years. So if you legitimately only had them working on a single player game, it just also shows how bad they're utilizing their team. That was the perfect group to have multiplayer, to work on multiplayer. And again, I don't know if they've even confirmed if this game would have had multiplayer or not. It's not sounding like it to me, or very garbage multiplayer. But like, Respawn should have 100% been in charge of making a multiplayer Star Wars game. Whether that's just running around with stormtroopers and, you know, not even heroes, or they could have been trying to work on another type, Battlefront type game. But no, you had them working on a Mandalorian fucking single player game, dude. Like, that's just not what you should be working on, dude. Like, that's just a waste of time. I could have told you that shit a long time ago. And not only that, to then just cancel it after all that time, too. You just wasted so much money. Those employees had to get paid. You needed to have the equipment. You needed all that shit. And you just put it in and wasted it. You wasted their time. You wasted the fans' time. You wasted your money. And now they're like, oh, you know, we better just get rid of it. Like, I don't even know what to say, dude. This level of incompetence is actually like real. You think you should be worried, but nobody will. I'll just forget about this in 2 minutes when they say something positive and be like, you guys are just negative. Star Wars can't do anything right. Dude, these guys are fucking retards, dude. Stop fucking babying these stupid motherfuckers. They don't know what they're doing. Like, they genuinely don't know what they're doing when it comes to Star Wars games. That's not an opinion. That is 100% a fact. They don't know shit. These old fucking dumbass dudes don't know shit, dude. Demonetize this video. I don't give a fuck. I'm still gonna post it. Not like we make money anyway off this shit. But they don't know what the fuck they're doing. A bunch of fucking idiots, honestly, dude. And yet, there's still gonna be some of these little cocksucking motherfuckers out here being like, no, you're just being negative, man. I wish, dude. I wish it was just me being negative. Fuck, I hope I'm wrong, dude. I hope to fucking God DICE makes a Battlefront 3 here in the next year or two. I hope I'm wrong, dude. I will literally just be so happy that I'm wrong. But it's not happening. Just the level of incompetence is just amazing, dude. How do these guys get so rich and yet be so just completely fucking clueless to this shit? I just don't know. I just genuinely don't know. We don't have any multiplayer games. I don't think there's a single Star Wars game that has multiplayer that's been announced. You know, and like we said, we're expecting them to kind of go down the route of they're going to just work on remasters and remakes and re-releases, you know, Battlefront Classic, Dark Forces. That's where we come to this little interesting one. We've got Knights of the Old Republic. But how long have we been hearing about that? I still don't think we're going to get it, even though they're focused on just releasing remakes, basically, and re-releases. Because they were trying to work on that game a little too much. And that's too hard for them. They just got to re-release shit. They can't work on it. That's why they're so bogged down. So honestly, I don't think we're going to get that. And I don't think we're going to get Eclipse. I think we've got a better chance of getting Knights of the Old Republic than we do Eclipse. But if you want to hold out hope, go ahead, dude. I secretly, I still have hope too. Because again, I benefit from it monetarily. I'm not the only one who's just... I'm not disappointed as a fan. I'm disappointed money-wise as well. Where you guys only got to be worried about being disappointed as a fan, right? Like, so I have even more reason to try to be positive and lie to you guys, to keep you guys sticking around. But realistically, dude, Star Wars gaming is fucked for the foreseeable future. Sure, Jedi Survivor 3, whatever the fuck that game's called, it's going to be good, I'm sure. But it's a game you play for a week or two and you're done. You know, and I loved the second one, and I played it a lot, and I still was done. I'm like, all right, nothing left to do now. You know, hopefully Outlaws will be a little better. I think it will be in terms of replayability, but At the end of the day, they're games you're going to play for a very little amount of time compared to multiplayer like Battlefront, where we can come back every day and play. It's not looking good. Let me know your thoughts, but anyway, just know these guys are a bunch of incompetent fucking assholes who wasted everybody's money and time. And, yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. Can't imagine why they wouldn't want to work with me even though I was making views. Could you imagine me in a room with the higher-ups? Like, you guys are a bunch of fucking idiots, dude. Give me the money and I'll be the boss. You just be the financer. Just get the fuck out of the way. I could make you more money. Any of us fucking YouTubers, any of you guys could probably do a better job, honestly. That's how sad it is. Like, they just... The people in charge have completely failed. Like, there's no other way of wording it. But, anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed the rant. I enjoyed it. Not really. My throat actually hurts. I've been ranting so long the last couple days with all the streams we've been talking about my throat. I'm losing my voice. I need some honey or something. Jesus. But, anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed the laggy gameplay as usual. And, yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm sure you guys all have thoughts. All the Star Wars people on Twitter have been talking about it all day, so I'm sure they've already made videos on this and you've already talked about it, so let me know what they're saying. Let me know what you think. Let me know everything. Let's just talk about it. But, anyway, I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.